Never did figure that out, I guess. Oh well. I love OBS. And everybody in here? Not quite yet. Alright. I am working on a project or two. Or a project anyway, as I am waiting for people to arrive. So if you see this and I haven't seen it yet, that's why. Hey, what was that noise? Noob Master 6 Mafia just subscribed. Cool. Welcome, Noob Master 6. Welcome to the family. Oh, boy. Hey, there's somebody. Oz Coleman. What's up, dude? How's it going, man? I am, like I said, I'm working on a thing or two here that I imagine we will, having to do with a topic going on in the YouTube world here at the moment, which I imagine will, I'm not going to bring it up because I just recorded a video on it that I'm going to put up tomorrow and talk about it then. But if it does come up, if somebody else asks me, brings it up here on the live stream today, then we'll talk about it. So, Fat Philosopher, 3 a.m. in Japan, 1 p.m. here in the States. I didn't realize we were that far apart in time, although I guess it makes sense. Park Kingery's here, Timothy Plonk is here, Mike St. Croix, and good buddy Jim. Hey, Jim. Jim from the Practical Guitarist. If I didn't tell you, if I haven't said this already, I thought I did, but I could be wrong. But thanks again for having me on your show here a couple of weeks ago. I had a lot of fun hanging out with you guys. I always have fun hanging out with you guys. So thank you very, very much again for inviting me on to your podcast / YouTube channel. So, and even David said in that episode, you guys are becoming more of a YouTube channel than you are a podcast these days. But let's see. Timothy Plonk in the super chat. Thank you so much for the super chat, sir. Thank you very much. Yeah. Let's see. Fat Philosopher says Soul to Warlock shape is just too uncomfortable to play. Warlocks take some getting used to, dude. I love them because I'm a huge BC Ridge fan. I've loved the Warlock since the 80s. It's just one of my all-time favorite body shapes, even though obviously it's not for everybody, but I've always loved the Warlocks. But the first time I bought one, when I sat down to play it for the first time and it started poking me right there, yeah, I agree. I'm with you. It took some getting used to. Mockingbirds are take a little bit of getting used to as well because they've also got a point that's in a real similar spot. So especially if you rest your guitar, if you're right-handed like I am and you rest your guitar on your right leg, that's when you run into that problem. If you're right-handed like I am and you rest your guitar on your left leg and you prop it up a little bit, I don't know if that's any better or not, but I hate sitting down to play that way. So, let's see. But yeah, I get why you may have sold why some people might not like the Warlocks and think they're uncomfortable to play. They're definitely an acquired taste. OG says, how's Robert today? I'm doing okay. I'm a little fired up here at the moment because I just watched a couple of videos that, all had excellent points raised, but also, brought about some other opinions of mine that really, really got under my skin. So I just shot my own video on it, and you guys are going to see that tomorrow. it also means I'm gonna have to rearrange some other things in my video schedule, and the video that I did have planned to go up for tomorrow, I'm gonna have to push back, unfortunately. But that's okay. Let's see. Charles 75N is here. Afternoon, sir. Michael Carver, what do you think about Black Star amps? They're not my favorite, to be honest with you. I don't, they're not bad. I don't hate them, but I would never pay. I would never spend my own money on one. Unless it was like one of the really high end ones, like the Series 200 or something like that. Those are pretty cool, but those are also really expensive and they're ungodly loud. But beyond that, that's really the only Black Star that I've ever played that I thought was, this is pretty kick ass. The rest of them are, like I said, they don't sound bad, but they don't sound great either. I mean, they're just really meh. I mean, small. They're. If I were ever gonna own one, it would be as a backup. I'd never play it. So they're for the most part, they're not for me. And the digital ID core stuff, I really can't stand. Some people think the tiny little ID core things. A lot of people out there think those things sound great. I can't stand them. So yeah, Black Star are one of those companies that they will never do business. They will never work with me ever because I've been pretty honest about some of the products in the past. So. Let's see. Fat Philosophy. There it is. I knew it. Were you watching the In the Blues video about disclosing paid promotions? Yes, I was. And everybody in that video was absolutely correct. They were absolutely, they were absolutely right about everything. And here's the thing, when it comes to, when people decide to start up a YouTube channel, most of them don't have a law degree in, proper advertising, because it's what this is. It's advertising. Most of them don't have a law degree in advertising, whatever. I certainly didn't know, and that box that. There's now a box that you can check that this video that says this video includes paid promotion. When you check that box, then it runs a banner at the beginning of the video and discloses that for you. So it's real easy to do that now, but that wasn't there when I got started. And I didn't know any of this stuff until I don't know, probably just until the last year or so, maybe. It's just not something the common people know about. I certainly didn't know anything about it when I got started on YouTube, but I don't know. Yeah, I just 20 minutes before I started this live stream, I just shut off the camera, recording my own video about it. So. It doesn't need to be disclosed, yes, but it's, I find it pretty insulting when people tell me, people call me a paid shill. I mean, that really pisses me off. So, I talked about that, but I don't know. Yeah, like I said, I just recorded a whole video on it, so it may even be against my better judgment, but I'm gonna put it up for you guys to see tomorrow morning, so you guys can see my opinion on it. Stay Metal Ray also posted a video responding to it, and he also raised some good points, and. What he said is, I mean, the guitar community, unfortunately, has become really, really negative, on the interwebs anyway. I mean, really negative. I mean, so many, I don't know how many times that some of it's just trolls, but some of it is people that they watch, like my take my Glary, the video that I did on my Glary guitar. I mean, you guys sat there and watched me. I strummed one chord and the whole thing went and literally tuned, pulled, just untuned itself, because it was that shittily made, for lack of a better description. You could see it happen there on video. I mean, it's not like I was hiding anything. And meanwhile, people tell you did stretch the string. No, dear. Strings do not cause this kind of, these kinds of, tuning issues to this level of, this drastic. So I'm not one. Forgive me this morning, guys. I'm kind of struggling. I'm not one with the words this morning. I guess, like I said, because I'm a little fired up. So, in part, Jim texted me directly, so I'm assuming that what he what he said he does not want in the chat. So I'm not going to repeat it, but I did want to stop and read what he sent to me. Let's see. Jim Woodard says, you were very honest. You did the right thing. I don't think that video was necessary, but maybe some people don't understand. Yeah, well, and that's just the thing. I don't think so many people don't understand. And a lot of people, not only do they not understand, but I think the vast majority of people out there don't understand the amount of work that goes into producing one of these fucking videos. I mean, and I talked about this. You guys will see more of it, but I thank God I work from home at my full-time job, because that enables me to I spend all my breaks, all my lunch hours, when I'm not in that room working for them, I do all of that stuff. I get a lot of that recording stuff done, on my when I should be sitting down relaxing eating lunch. And the reason why is, because I want to try to get it knocked out early every week, so that, I'm not taking time away from my wife and from my family on the weekends. Because I was doing that for a long time. My mom would, call me up and want to take me out to lunch on a Saturday, and I couldn't do it because I was too busy. And that happened over, and then if I felt bad about that, I would drop what I was doing and go do it, and then, be pissed off that I was doing it, that I was there instead of working on something else the entire time, and that's not cool. Yes, some of that's on me, but, now that I've got that figured out from a scheduling standpoint anyway, that I'm not caused me problems, but for other people in my life. But I mean, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, and the so I mean, like I said, it really really frustrates me when people tell me I'm a paid shill. Even if I like this pedal right here, for example, I did not pay for this pedal. This is the NuX Fireman distortion, kick ass distortion pedal. One of the best distortion pedals I've ever demoed on this channel. I didn't pay for it. NuX sent it to me, okay? They sent it to me specifically for the, so that I could demo it for them in a video on my channel. They didn't pay me any money to do anything. They just said, here's the pedal, keep it. This was my compensation. But even free ain't free. Even free ain't free because of all of the work that I got to put into making that video. And there's a lot of work. I mean, I don't want to. I've gone over that in the past, but between setting up the cameras and lighting and then the video editing, the recording, the writing of the track that has to go in it, because I can't use a cover, can't do covers anymore. All that, the writing of the song, the mixing, the mastering, all that stuff that goes into it. And even with my limited studio engineering skills, very limited, recording skills, it's still a lot of work. So, You know, I mean, it's gotten to the point, you know, guitar players especially, people just want to bitch. Oh, yeah, you don't really think that, do you? That guitar, you actually think that guitar sucks, don't you? If I thought it sucked, you wouldn't be watching this video of it on my channel because I wouldn't have demoed it in the first place, you fucking idiot. Ugh. Yeah. So, now what I'm doing, you know, there's that little checkbox that I mentioned that includes all of the, you know, the little that says, you know, paid promotion. You know, this video includes paid promotion, whatever the verbiage is. I'm going through every one of my videos and turning that box on. You know, clicking that box whether I was paid for. You know whether I was paid or I was compensated in some way or not to produce that video, because God forbid you guys see this, you know, this 6-foot instrument cable hanging up here in the background behind me, you know, and think that I received it for free and I didn't disclose that. Yeah. So, but I did pay for that cable, by the way. Okay. So, rant over until probably the next half hour when somebody else jumps in here and, you know, hey, did you see shit in the blues video? Jim says, exactly. It's why I haven't got a video up. I've got too much work to put into a video and then edit it. And a lot of these guys have assistants to help them. We don't. Yeah, exactly. A lot of those, you know, there's a lot of channels out there that actually, you know, they're big enough. They're able to pay somebody to edit their videos for them and get them put up. So, you know, all they got to do is, you know, shoot them, say, here's the files, go nuts. You know, I don't have that luxury. I do everything. You know, everything. You know, I got to record my first, I did my very first collaboration video this week with another creator. And, you know, that was actually kind of, you know, very pleasant because, you know, the other creator involved, and I'm not going to spoil it, but, you know, the other creator involved, not only did they, shoot and record all of their parts for it, but, you know, they also went through and edited everything as necessary, and then, you know, sent me the file where all I had to do was drop it in, you know, so that was a big help. But that's the exception, not the rule. You have never come across as a shill. How could anyone think that shills are slick and slimy like an effing used car salesman? I agree. You know, I don't, and I don't take that mentality either on demoing a piece of gear on my channel or, you know, even in my full-time job. So, you know, my full-time job, you know, what I do there is, you know, introduce people, say, hey, I'm Robert, this is who I am, this is what I do. You know, if there's ever anything that you need, if you got your eye on something, if you need, you know, if you got questions, you know, here's how you can contact me directly. You know, feel free to call, feel free to email anytime. Let me know what I can do to help. And if they choose to do so, you know, if they choose to call me or something down the road, you know, then now it's my time. Now it's my turn to impress them. You know, now it's my turn to show them that I'm not a rookie. I know what I'm doing. You know, and they called the right guy. That's, you know, that's how I built my customer base for years. Charles 75N says, I've never seen a video on this channel that was anything but honest. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I'm glad at least some people seem to notice. Joseph Austin says, the big part of your channel that I think people enjoy is the real reviews you do and the real live stream you have. Honesty is apparent in your productions. You know, and again, thank you very much. I try to stay away from reviewing anything, to be honest with you. You know, I don't like the well, it does this really well, but you know, I really wish that they did more of this. There have been times that I've done that. I'm not saying that I've never done that. You know, if there's something glaring that I just can't ignore. Like that. The Kolos guitar. For example, if that thing just had a couple, one or two minor little flaws here and there, I probably wouldn't have said anything. But it had half a dozen or more. I couldn't ignore that. I had to disclose that. Um, Same thing with the piece of shit glary guitar. That tuning issue is a glaring, pardon the pun, but that is a glaring fucking issue. I cannot ignore that and pass that off. There's no way. But in the instance that something is doing exactly what it seems, this thing right here, what yeah, it's a cool pedal, but I wish I wish they had a gloss finish instead of this rough satin, paint job that they did on it. I think that looks kind of stupid. Yeah, I don't like to include things like that in my videos. Number one, and that's I'm just using the guy as an example. I don't actually think that about that pedal, but I don't like to nitpick, about stupid shit like that. It's just I've got better things to do with my time. You've got better things to do with your time than watch me share that those kinds of opinions, and just so I try to stay away from reviews as much as possible and just stick strictly to demos. In other words, this is what it does. This is what it does well. Period. End. Yeah. So. Only 15 viewers so far. Where the hell is everybody? Huh. Let's see. Fat Philosopher said, "I have a surprise. I have a surprise today. Dean CEO Evan Rubinson left a comment on one of my videos. He was calling out Gibson for being hypocrites. He has been really active this week on videos, because I've got a video up about a year and a half or so ago on that very same topic, and he commented on that one as well." And I didn't know who he was. I saw that I saw Evan Rubinson, and it was just the name didn't ring any bells, and then finally I said, somebody else commented below and thank you for all that you do. So I looked him up, and sure enough, it's Dean's CEO. He also commented on my guitar on my video where I talked about the Gibson lawsuit against Dean. Like I said, a year and a half or so ago. So the fact that he's getting active on that makes me think that whole thing is kind of starting to heat up a little bit. And since I tried to be fairly objective on both sides in that video, but I hope Dean comes out ahead on that, because it's for Gibson to file a lawsuit over their headstock and body shapes 40 years later. All they're doing is all they're doing is trying to bully Dean Guitars out of either out of business or into making something different, even though they have no legal right to do so. That's all it is. It's it's political theater, basically. Um, and really it's chicken shit. Now, I think it does need to go. It is worth mentioning that whole thing started before Gibson filed bankruptcy. So that ball started rolling under the Henry Juskowitz era. Not after Gibson went bankruptcy and sold out and brought in JC for their new leadership. That was all stuff that was already in the works when JC took over. So I don't want to beat up on him about it too bad. They have made their mistakes since he's been running the show. I'm not gonna pretend like they haven't. We're all familiar with the Play Authentic video. But that lawsuit bullshit was, that was all Henry. So, and again, I think it's chicken shit. Chicken shit bullying is all that it is. So, I really hope, I hope Dean's able to, able to come out on the other side. So he must be doing a lot of online research to see what people are thinking, and I think he's gathering ammo is what he's doing. Haas Coleman in the super chat. Thank you, dude. Says, have a great day, Robert. Thank you for what you do. My pleasure, sir. Thank you all very, very much for the super chats. While I'm thinking about it, if you guys want to support the channel, there is a little caption, a little glass tip jar there on the screen. You may have noticed. You can support the channel if you choose to do so. There's a little dollar sign down there at the bottom of the chat box. You can also use the PayPal link that is there in the description. Pardon me. You can also use the PayPal link that's there in the description if you want to eliminate the middleman. Either way is fine with me. I'm grateful for any of it and all of it. There's also a Patreon link in the description. So I just went through and updated everything in my Patreon account last night. So I would really kind of like to try to grow that audience as well. I'm trying to think of what I could offer to, that would be a good Patreon exclusive. I think I might start doing a short live stream just for Patreon members once I get up to a certain level of Patreon support. That I will probably start offering a specific live, a Patreon exclusive live stream that will feature, products and stuff. Not a 2-hour live stream or anything like that, just a short, 10, 15 minute deal where, you guys can see what products I'm getting ready to demo next before anybody else does, because I generally don't like to disclose what I'm about to demo until the video drops. So. Anyway, so, but that's me kind of thinking out loud. None of that's happened yet, and I got to see some traction first before I'm able to do any of that. Park Kingery says, "Well, I never asked for a video. I just asked for your thoughts." And that's true. I've demoed every pedal that you've sent me, but. That is correct. Park Kingery has Park Kingery. By the way, if you don't recognize the name, is the brainchild behind Park's Custom Pedals, which I have demoed several, including the one coming up that has not hit yet. And he has never once asked me for a video. He's just asked me for my opinion. What do you think? And and I've gone ahead and made videos for him every time, but. Hoping so that hopefully he can, as his brand continues to grow, he can have use my videos as a point of reference, and assuming they're worthy of that anyway. Hey, and Jim Woodard in the super chat, thank you, sir. Says, get Zoe a puppy treat on me. How about early access where we can give early feedback on videos? Just a thought. Could that a viable, very good idea, something to consider. My initial reaction to that is I'm creating more work for myself. If there's something really critical that you guys think I should change before it goes up, then that means I got to go back and redo it. Joseph Austin says, also negative people are so much louder than positive people. They suck the oxygen out of the room. Yes, they do. There's a couple of people out there in this world recently. One of them is a pedal builder, another one that comes to mind is another YouTube creator, those are two people that are never going to get a fucking breath of oxygen on my channel, ever. If we were all hanging out down at a guitar store or a bar, no one would say the stuff people do in an anonymous medium like YouTube comments. I couldn't agree more. That's where the term keyboard warriors came from. All of a sudden, people are suddenly untouchable. And now all of a sudden they have the balls to say to you what they would never have the balls to say to your face. Jim Woodard says we have to write the music, record all the instruments. Yeah, that's true. I also have to record and play the bass, and I use virtual drums in my tracks, but that drum track still ain't gonna create itself. Uh, Record all the video, come up with a story idea, write the script if there is one, edit the video to the audio, create all the subtitles. Yeah, create the thumbnail. Try to come up with a catchy, name for the title. Without it being clickbaity, as I discovered this past week. More people got pissed off about the title of my crate video than anything else. So that video didn't do nearly as well as I'd hoped it would, because people got pissed off over the title. Even though I apologize for it in the video itself, but oh well. Live and learn, I guess. Timothy Blanc says, I don't understand why there's so much negativity among guitar players. I just stay away from it when possible, but it pisses me off when viewing gear and there's so much whining and complaining. Yeah, me too. I mean, it's one thing to see somebody, to see him, Henning demo a pedal, and it's like, man, this thing sounds like shit. They should have done this. There's this, that's good. That's good information. Cool. Now I know not to buy the damn thing. And in Henning's case, I also think it's hilarious, but, to just nitpick over little shit. I wish they'd use this style of knobs here instead of these barrel knobs. This would have been a lot better if they put top hats on. Shut up, Jesus! Really? You got to look pretty hard to come up with a for that to be the criticism that you actually include in it. Jim Woodard says to Timothy, I think it's people, the way our society has gone because of social media, folks who put others down to make themselves feel better. Yep, there's a lot of that going on out there too. I mean, and I think that applies more to trolls than anything else. I think there's a lot of miserable fucking people out there. Sorry for all the F-bombs this morning or this afternoon, wherever part of the world you're in right now, but like I said, I kind of get a little bent out of shape. I love the honesty in your videos. Anything else would be lying rubbish, a waste of time. And that's it. And that's the thing that I think a lot of people don't understand. I don't think there's any YouTube creator out there that wants to lie to their audience. I mean, it seems common sense to me that would be a pretty stupid thing to do if you would hope to grow your audience on YouTube at all. It just doesn't make any sense. Let's see. Fat Philosopher said, my Glary had the tremolo cavity routed out all crooked. They refunded all my money at least. And I would if I had paid for mine, and I didn't pay for mine. They sent me mine, and they contacted me, by the way. Said, do you want to demo one of these guitars? And I'd already seen Ray's demo at that point. All right, what the hell? So they sent it to me, but had I paid for it, I would have demanded a full refund for it, no question. I had originally intended to give it a share of the music, but I never did, honestly. I still have it. It's still sitting over there in that in that gig bag that they send with it that's too small. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, so. I might sell it, actually. That might even be the thing to do, is to sell it and find somebody that loves modifying guitars, and tell them to go nuts. Joseph Austin says the thing is most players I know are not negative. It's the trolls that roll in and comment. Yeah, and there's a lot of them, man. There's and then you got like the super trolls, the mega trolls that. Like that AJ Ricchetti douchebag that he loves trolling my channel. He trolls he trolls Lucas's channel. He trolls just any of the it basically any he like thinks that he's like the chosen one, that it's his life's mission, to put YouTubers like me, in my place, you know, claiming he's had this long illustrious music career. Nobody's ever heard of him. You can't find a single thing that he's ever recorded, or a single video that anybody's ever taken of him, or a stage that he's ever played on anywhere. Uh, he gets way bent out of shape when you say anything negative about Line 6 or Epiphone. But claims he's got a lot of guitars and stuff that are a lot nicer and yeah, I mean, Troll Deluxe basically is what that dude is. Troll Deluxe. And, I mean, that's, in his case, what was even funnier is he has he creates like 8 or 10 different accounts, so that if you block one, he'll go in and keep trolling you with another account. It took me a while to get him all filtered out, but and I don't know what happened, because prior to that, he was always, he'd been watching my channel for a long time and never had anything but good things to say, and positive comments, and I seemed like a pretty good guy. And then one day, I don't know what happened. Crazy people out there, man. I mean, I was talking with Jim and David about it one time a few months back, and he's like, "That guy sounds like he might be crazy enough to jump on a plane and come find you. You need to be careful." And yeah, you're absolutely right. So, Jim says, "I just want to thank you for being my salesperson the last 2 weeks. Fender," Jim has bought a lot of gear from me. Fender Blues Junior Lacquer Tweed, Wampler Tumnus, and Wampler Ratsbane. And 2 20-foot cables. My pleasure, sir. I thank you very much for trusting me with your gear purchasing needs. I don't promote what I do. I don't promote my full-time job on my channel. For a number of reasons that if I disclose what those reasons were, you would know. You would know why I don't like to disclose that. But so I don't talk about it very much, but I do. I'm very, very grateful for those of you that do know who I am and what I do, that have come to me with gear needs, or or whatever it may be. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. That's actually a bigger help than anything else. So. Jonathan Bird says, "Ignore the haters. You're one of the best guitar channels on YouTube. I always enjoy the show." Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And there's a lot of great guitar channels out there, man. There's a lot of great channels, small and large. There's great channels that got 5, 6, 7, 8,000 subscribers. There's great channels that got 15 or 20,000 subscribers. There's great channels that 30, 40, 50,000, then the bigger ones on up from there that we're all probably a little more familiar with. There's a lot of great content creators out there, man. And I guess that's why this whole thing boggles my mind. I mean, there's so much great content out there to choose from. Why do we got to be negative? If you happen to find something you don't like, there's plenty out there that you probably will. If you don't like my channel because you think I'm a terrible guitar player, because you think my lighting sucks, or because you hate the fact that I'm bald and fat, or you hate the fact that I stumble over my words a lot, fine. You're entitled. You are more than entitled. But if you don't like my channel because you think I'm dishonest, fuck you. Let's see. Chai Pup is here. That's a new username I'm not familiar with. So welcome to you, Chai Pup. I'm assuming you're new here in town. Says, "Hello, Robert. Out of all the reviews you've done, which item do you still use the most today?" Oh, man. that I use the most is probably my Laney IRT Studio, because most of the pedal demos that you see, well, most of the gear demos, period, actually, that you see, unless it's for another amp, most of the gear demos that you see are all ran through that Laney IRT Studio. And I bought it because, from a studio standpoint, it checks a lot of boxes. And that it's got a built-in load box, so I don't have to run it into a cab. I can run it straight into my interface and not have to worry about it blowing up. It's all tube. It's got 3 channels on it, so it's got every tone I could possibly need on it. A great clean channel. That makes it a really, really good pedal platform, as well as a really good effects loop circuit. It's got even has a USB, because it also doubles as an interface. I don't use it for that, but it does double as an interface, and so it also makes it really handy for reamping. So it checks a lot of boxes, especially in a home recording studio, and I've gotten a lot of use out of it, and it's also handy to use out here when I'm not in my guitar room and I'm in a more of a environment when I need to record silently, or at least quieter. Now, a lot of you guys have commented here recently that you guys miss seeing my recordings, seeing my videos in the guitar room, with guitars and amps and stuff all over the place around me. Well, I'm in the middle of remodeling that room, and it's going to take some time, because I've got to buy a few things that aren't cheap, and I'm getting there. It's the progress has been made, but there's a lot that has to happen for me to logistically get that all set up to where I can do that more often. But that's beside the point. But of all the gear that I have demoed that I've used the most, probably the Laney, because that one gets used in just about every video. Or this Aston Stealth microphone too. This thing gets used in every video as well. I love this microphone. I've never demoed it, actually, because every time I go to demo a microphone on this channel, you guys have no interest. Because this is a guitar channel, not a studio channel. So that's why I decided not to, because it's a lot of effort and probably a waste of time. But same with my Kali Audio LP6 studio monitors. So, but of everything that I've demoed, Laney IRT Studio. Let's see. OG says, what are some of the tunes that melted your mind as a young thrasher? The ones that make you say, fuck everything else. Boy. Motley Crue's Kickstart My Heart has earned me more speeding tickets than any other song ever written, especially when I was younger. I'm sorry if you even listen to that song on full blast in the car today. I still can't help but floor it. That song does that for me. Motley Crue's got a few songs that fit that description for me, but that one in particular. Just about anything off the first 4 Metallica albums, first 5 really. Anything off probably the first 5 or 6 Megadeth records. Not anything, but a lot of tracks. Let's see. Who else was I really, really into as a kid? Ozzy Osbourne, No More Tears. I'll never forget that. I was driving home from school one day. I'd been in the car, I'd been in the car less than 5 minutes, and decided to throw in No More Tears. Listen to the title track, and I'm driving down the highway, and all of a sudden, Zakk Wylde's guitar solo comes up, and and I had it up I didn't listen to music at low volumes at that age. So of course I had it cranked, and Zakk Wylde's solo came on, and I was like, this is one of the best solos I've ever heard. And it just, I was like, this is badass. And I listened to it over and over. I spent hours listening to that solo after that, and it's still one of my all-time favorite Ozzy songs. To this day, because of that guitar solo. So Matter of fact, it was that guitar solo that made me become a huge Zakk Wylde fan. So, let's see. Uh, Home One says, "I'm here, boss. Garden Grove, California. Welcome to you." That's another screen name I don't think I recognize, or maybe I've seen it once, but let's see. Savinity Guitars, Rondo Bondo. Let's see here. Fat Philosopher said Rubinson said on my video that the V bridge on the Mustaine VMNT started with Dean, and that Gibson is now stealing that design with their proposed Kramer Mustaine models. Wouldn't surprise me. So, and if that's the case, it sounds like Dean may have a counter lawsuit on their hands that could definitely work out and play to their favor. If it is, I don't know. There's not a judge of the world that's gonna, that's not gonna. I don't think is going to see, what Gibson's trying to do. I mean, I guess it's within their legal right, but still, bullshit. Jordan Baguette, thoughts on Gibson? Well, it depends on, I'm not sure what aspect you're talking about, but if you're talking about the product, I think that they have actually, the product of their guitars, I think, has actually improved quite a bit in the last couple of years since JC took over. Since the new leadership took over, I think they seem to be at least heading in the right direction. Every Gibson that not every Gibson, but a lot of the Gibsons that I played seem to have been, built a lot better, not as loaded up with the inherent issues as they once had, and not loaded up with a bunch of bullshit features that nobody wanted on them anyway. So I think they're getting there. They still got a ways to go. Probably still got a long ways to go, but they seem to be, quality-wise anyway, seem to be heading in the right direction. The Epiphones as well. The Epiphone line, I think those may be about as nice as they've ever been. I think they're making some great strides at the Epiphone brand. The new Kramers, I haven't actually gotten a chance to play any of the current Kramer line. I know a lot of people that have, and I've heard nothing but good things about them. So they seem to when they first re-released Kramer back, the Kramer stuff back in 2012 or something like that, and they were the most piece of shit garbage guitars that you've ever gotten your hands on. This time around they seem to be taking it really, really seriously, and seem to be doing a great job. Now they've even got some signature models in the Kramer line that they didn't have before, and I mean, quality-wise, I think they're heading in the right direction. I can't wrap my brain. I don't know what their mindset is with all these goddamn lawsuits that they're filing against everybody. That blows my mind. I don't understand how they expect to earn the respect of the EMI industry by doing that. Hey, Dave Escobar's here. What's up, Dave? Let's see. John Shutt is here. It says, what are guitar makers obsessed with putting cheap high output ceramic pickups in guitars? Well, a lot of people like them, to be honest with you. Because there's a lot of people out there, and I'm one of them, that like high output guitars. That like high output pickups, but don't want to have to go the active pickup route. So they want high output passive pickups, and ceramic magnets are a good way to make that happen. Now the cheap part of your comment, that I can't that I can't attest to, but honestly, there's some guitars at lower price points. I mean, they got to put something cheap in them. They just have to, because in the instance of, let's see, Seymour Duncan, for example, Seymour Duncan will not allow any guitar maker to use their USA pickups in any guitar, any of their guitars below, I think now the threshold is like $899. So I mean, that guitar's got to be, maybe it's $799, but we'll say it's $799 right now. I'm not sure what it is, but I think it's around there. So that guitar's got to sell for at least $800 before Duncan's going to allow you to allow that company, Schecter, for example, to use their pickups in one of their production guitars. DiMarzio, their policy is real similar. EMG, actually, their threshold is a little bit lower. I think theirs is around the $650 range. So, so you can find USA active EMGs in some more inexpensive guitars, but that's also the reason why companies like Schecter, for example, probably being the biggest example, Schecter are now making their own USA pickups and putting them in a lot of their import guitars. My green weird looking pearl top, my Schecter CR6 that you guys see me use them in my videos a lot. Those, that one's got USA, Schecter USA pickups in it because it's that guitar brand new was $699, so they couldn't use Duncan's. So they came up with their own USA pickups that also I think sound really, really good. And once they pay for all the R&D that went into making them, probably gonna be a lot cheaper for them in the long run if they keep it up. Especially if they ever decide to start selling them aftermarket. If they do that, I can see them making that could be a very, very good business investment for them. So. But yeah, pickups are like guitar strings, man. Everybody's got all different kinds of tastes and preferences and brands and all that stuff. Let's see. Savannah Guitar says, Robert, I have encountered trolls on Instagram like hell, but block or say your piece, and some apologize, but I've had great people also help me. Good ones. Hard to keep on social media. Yeah. I think the majority of people out there, generally are. Some people are more critical than others. But then there's people that are overly critical. Then there's and then there's the trolls, and some of them are, some of those people are one and the same. And you hear enough of the bad stuff, and I'm guilty of this. I tend to, sometimes I'm automatically on the defensive. If I'm getting trolled by by a number, over and over and over on a particular video or whatever it may be. If I just got this run of troll comments come across, I instinctively just I tend to get a little defensive, and there's been a few times when I've said something, I've said something rude or been a dick to somebody in the comments section just because I assumed that's what the direction they were heading into. So, sometimes I've had to apologize, and sometimes I've not gotten the chance to apologize, and so I mean I'm generally not like that, but I'm human too, so. Let's see. Iggy Plateau says, negativity is easy. Staying positive takes effort. Too many lazy negs out there. Long live RGD. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Let's see. Ricky Compton's here. Chop It Up is here. And does that get everybody? For the moment, anyway. At least I think a few more. I'll get to you in a second. Smitty Guitar says all gear is cool. It's just your taste. Just what is your taste? I don't price or brand bash. I try. I roast gear and make fun of gear all the time. Because because I'm actually able to take a joke. And I assume the people that I'm talking to are able to take a joke as well. But that's but it's the gear. It's that I'm making fun of. I'm not making fun of anybody that anybody that happens to enjoy it. I'm not making fun of anybody that uses it, and I'm not making fun of anybody that built it. Just the gear itself. And if you read into it any deeper than that, like I said, you live a miserable existence, and that's not my problem. Dave Escobar says there's always been trolls back in the bulletin board days, forum trolls. Snobs, music store noobs. I had a few stores actually tell me, "Are you sure you can afford this?" Yep, one of the best lessons that I learned in my industry is to assume every customer that you talk to is a millionaire until they tell you otherwise. So I assume everybody's a millionaire until they tell me otherwise. So man, well, now, not only actually not just until they tell me otherwise, but until I actually see otherwise. Because I had a guy the other day that was telling me, we need some wireless systems for our church, but we're kind of on a limited budget. A little bit later on in the conversation, I said, okay, well, let's you're looking at this, why don't we've got this option here that may work better for you. Let me ask you something. How big is your congregation? So, well, we just opened back up, and back up to full capacity, be around 2,000. You're a church with a congregation of 2,000 people, and you tell me you're on a limited budget? Bullshit. So, no, assume everybody's a millionaire until you can, until you know otherwise. Timothy Plonk says, if only that pedal maker would have put different knobs on them pedals, it would have sounded better. yeah, the knobs that they put on there make all the difference in the world. Let's see. Chop It Up says, do you know anything about Gibson partnership with Dobro making a solid body with the P90 pickups in the late 90s? I've heard grumblings. Not grumblings, but it seems like I've heard a little bit about Gibson and Dobro, either doing a collaboration together of some kind or being one of the same, and the details are never real clear. But I remember hearing something about that. I've never been able to verify how much truth there is to it or anything. Yeah, so. Here, before I forget, one more reminder, because we've had a few more people here. We're up 47 viewers now. We're almost, my goal right now, just so you guys know. I mean, if we get to the point that we're cracking 50 viewers at a time on these live streams, I mean that's sign of growth and signs that you guys are enjoying. Enjoying hanging out with me here on the weekends. So, I keep trying to grow this thing. Hopefully I get up to the point where some of the bigger channels are, getting 4, 5, 6, 700 people at a time. But we're not there yet. So right now I'm trying to get to 50 consistently. So right now as I say this, now we drop back down to 45. But anyway. But if you'd like to support the channel, you can do so. There's a couple different ways. You can click that $sign down there at the bottom of the chat box, and you can also hit up the PayPal link in the description, the Patreon link in the description, and all that kind of stuff. Basically all the money that is generated from this channel all goes right back into this channel, and that's what allows me to keep acquiring gear to demo for you guys. So anyway, so. If you guys want to support the channel, it is greatly, greatly appreciated. Jim Woodard says, "Save the music." I don't know if that's a different organization, or if you're referring to Share the Music. Says, wouldn't take Phil McKnight's. It was that bad. I saw that comment in the in you guys' group on Facebook, and from that one guy that said, what did he say? He said, Phil McKnight can go into a hole and die for his review on the Glary guitar. And I asked him what was so bad about his review on the Glary guitar, and I don't know. I haven't seen that video. But if Phil took the stance that I did, and that guy's complaining about it, God forbid Phil be honest with him. Jesus. Purchase validation. People looking to have their purchases validated. I already spent my money on this, so you better tell me that it's a good product. Well, sorry to tell you, but if you bought a Glary guitar, you wasted your money, and you could have saved that $70 and put it towards something else. It would have been a much, much better instrument for you. Period. End. You'll notice you haven't seen that glary guitar on this channel since I did my video of it. Let's see. Jim says you can see me playing guitar in front of thousands of people. Just search North 40 Band, Troy, New York. I'm playing bass in one and guitar in the other. Our band had a bus, groupies, everything. Well, you are also, part of that upstate New York musician community that Rick Beato came from. So, you've got yes, I know you've done a lot of that stuff. So. John Shutt said, I almost sold my EMG loaded Schecter, then I changed the battery. All better. Yeah, that's matter of fact, I had one of those phone calls on this week from somebody as well. Said, yeah, just bought this guitar. It's got this active EMGs in it. Said, but it sounds terrible. This, that. Did you change the battery in it? No. Why? Change out the 9-volt in it, and then give me a call back. Let me know how it sounds. 10 minutes later. Yep, that fixed it. Now it sounds the way I expected it to. Okay, thanks. Enjoy the guitar. A dead battery, an almost dead battery, and an active guitar is no bueno. Fat Philosopher says some gear viewers often drop F-bombs. Others want to drop F-bombs, but instead use those annoying bleeps instead. Is there any incentive for content creators to bleep themselves? Yeah, you can. I think you can get flagged for inappropriate content if you drop an F-bomb in like the first 30 seconds of a video or something like that. Matter of fact, Glenn Fricker did one recently where he had to bleep it out because it was in the first 30 seconds of his video, but then it was, like the rest of his videos, it was loaded with F-bombs for, for the duration. Yeah, they do have some policies that they want to, that they want us to abide by. As far as I try not to use any harsh language in my videos at all. Live streams are a little bit different because I don't really consider this a video. This is me just hanging out with you guys. So that's a little bit different. I don't generally use 4-letter words in most of my videos though. So just because I want to be able to keep them keep content friendly to everybody involved. I don't want whoa. In the instance of in the instance of a sponsored video, I don't want I don't want that to be a representation of that particular brand or company. In the instance of a non-sponsored video, I don't know who might be who might be looking to watch it, and I don't. My parents are really, really strict when I was growing up, and they didn't, especially back in the late 80s, early 90s, any record, that had the parental advisory sticker on it, I wasn't allowed to have. And, it didn't stop me. It did not stop me in any way, shape, or form from acquiring those records anyway and listening to them. And and to this day, I still think that was wrong to try and prevent exposing me from that kind of stuff. It's just music, it's just lyrics, but at the same time, it's not my responsibility, or my place to tell somebody else how to raise their children or their families. And so if somebody's kids are watching that, and that does come off a little. To be loading up a video full of F-bombs, even though all my videos are checked not for kids, it does come across, as, kind of inappropriate and sleazy and, classless in my opinion. So, Let's see. Rondo Bondo says the chair. I don't know what you're referring to, unless it's the chair that I'm sitting in. Let's see. OG says, remember when you could swear on YouTube and everyone was for it, no censorship. I don't know if that's always been the case either. You know, I mean, there's, you know, it's not network TV, of course, but, you know, I mean, you can get your point across without cussing all over the place, man. I mean, you know, it's very, very possible. So, let's see. Timothy Plonk says when seeing amplifier reviews, I hate it when the guy says it's a good sounding amp, but I have to knock off a bit for the style of knobs. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it drives me batshit crazy. I don't, you know, what if I like the knobs that are on there? I don't give a shit if you do or you don't. I care about how it sounds and, you know, does it work the way it's supposed to? Let's see. You get caught up in the chat. Zoe's going batshit crazy about what? Nothing by the looks of it. Ronnie Webster's here. What's up, dude? How are you? Let's see. Jim Woodard says, everyone talking poop about Gibson while I sit with my SG in my lap, cranking the Marshall, using the Torpedo Captor extra volume control, and my new pedals. Nothing wrong with that. Kalen Brogan, I'm not sure how your last name is pronounced. Braun, maybe. It's spelled Broughan. I'm gonna go with Brogan, but I'm sure I'm probably murdering that. So, anyway, it says, can you say hello to my friend Ricky, who has been a 6-month member to the VIP Naughty Doggers Club, but is yet to meet any? Oh, that's a troll. Never mind. Let's see. I'd use her. Pretty clever troll comment. I got to give him that. You know, wait until the very end of the comment after I read it out loud for me to figure that out. Oh well, now they're gone. Probably a bot, actually. Let's see. James Severin's here. Lord Winterheart is here. Ian Nunez. Cool Guitar Gear. What's up, dude? Hello to all of you guys as well. I'm trying to get caught up. I don't know how long you guys have been here. Some of you may have bailed already. Let's see. Hobo Ruddy is here. Says I tend to say a lot of inane shit. I usually don't mean to be a troll. It's worse when I try to be droll. Don't sniff solder, kids. Got it. Don't sniff solder. Is the message there, I think. John Shutt said in the 1980s the only people that would come to your gig was other players. All they would do is rip on you. Now rock bands are so few and far between. We have to support each other. I've felt that's been the case always, you know. And one thing, if you look back and we're at 51 viewers, awesome. Thanks, guys. If you watch like old music videos, you know, from back in the 80s, I mean, I think there was an awful lot of support among, you know, from different bands for each other. You know, be like you'd watch a Def Leppard music video and, you know, they were wearing Bon Jovi t-shirts on their stages. You know, and you know, that was rampant all over the scene. I mean, that was like a really, really popular thing, was for you to, you know, wear the t-shirt of another band that you supported while you were playing your own gig. So, you know, just about every band back then did it, you know, unless they were real dicks. But, you know, for the most part, I mean, it was, it got to the point I remember thinking to myself, I was like, well, why are they not wearing their own T-shirts? Is there, is that some, there's something wrong with that? Is I can take, consider, pretentious or arrogant or something like that they wouldn't do. I don't know. It was weird. Just didn't make a lot of sense to me. Uh, but bands back then, I remember, all wore T-shirts of other bands at their own gigs. So which I always thought was pretty cool. Jim Woodard says we have a customer who came in. His hair was wild. Always wore tore up clothes, and he would easily spend several $1,000s on a single guitar. Never assume is right. Yep, exactly. Assume everybody's a millionaire. Let's see. OG says YouTube is the new rock star. I don't know about that because I'm anything but a rock star, but. Fat Philosopher's heading to bed because it's 4 a.m. over there in Japan where he is. S-Fear6 says, hey, Robert, how about P90 pickups? Have you ever tried those pickups before? Do you ever own a guitar loaded with those? I have never owned a guitar with P90 pickups, believe it or not. I keep meaning to buy something, something with P90s in it just so I have that P90 sound, but I don't know. They're fat single coils is what they are. It's a Gibson single coil really. So they're tone wise. I mean, it's definitely fatter sounding than a Fender single coil or even a Fender guitar would sound. Especially when you drop them into in a much warmer sounding guitar like a Gibson. But they're not humbuckers either. So, but they do have a kind of a cool, unique tone to them somewhere in the middle. I've never owned a guitar with P90s on it though. Hobarodi says, I've noticed that my cheap guitars are not worth much more than I paid for them. If they're worth more than what you paid for them at all, I would be surprised. That goes for just about any guitar out there. Yeah, there's a few exceptions on the collector's market, but generally speaking, guitars used guitars and amps tend to depreciate pretty quickly. So you buy it new as soon as that return policy expires, you're married to it. You were never going to see all that money back ever again. Most people that tear down players online don't seem to have videos of themselves online, says Joseph Austin. Yep, that is. I've noticed that as well. Except when you were, if you were that Jan dude that that I had to call out in my most recent Know Your Troll video. He had 4 videos up, and his first one was called "I Can't Find a Girl." Douchebag. Let's see. Joseph Austin says Glenn Fricker is great at what he does, but it can be rough to watch a whole video when he's on a rant. I like Glenn quite a bit, man. I don't. I find very, very little that I disagree with. What he says. So I happen to like Glenn's channel. I like Glenn. I like his channel quite a bit. I think he's a good dude. Park Henry says, how you like the knobs on the new Peppers pedal Hesher? That's a great pedal. Great pedal, very well built. The knobs are nice and tight. So, if you bump them, they're not going to move. There's that pedal's top notch, man. I have nothing negative to say about it at all. So, I just finished that video this week. So, that'll be up. Probably be a couple weeks before you guys see it, but... Deli6505 says, thoughts on Gibson buying Mesa Boogie? I don't know, man. I don't, honestly, I think if anything, it's going to be better for everybody because, if they go this route, and I don't know if they will or not, but if you don't know this, Mesa Boogie has really, really strict rules regarding their dealers. and their distribution. They will not allow any two stores to carry Mesa Boogie products that are within, I think it's like 75 miles of each other. And they do that because they don't want to compete against themselves. And also, under that same policy, they don't allow any of their dealers to discount their product. If Mesa Boogie Dual Rectifier is $19.99, customer wants one brand new, they pay $19.99. Period. End. So Mesa Boogie, they're really, really strict about that. And as such, that also means that you're not able to find them anywhere, or find them everywhere, especially after their relationship with Guitar Center went south. So now they're actually a lot harder to find. Now that they're owned by Gibson, Gibson's got a great relationship with Guitar Center. So that could mean that Gibson could be getting, not only could be getting Mesa Boogie back again, but also could mean that they're getting Mesa Boogie and more locations than just the old Mesa stores that used to carry them. So, I think if they go that route, and they haven't really made this announcement yet, but I'm assuming they're going to. If they do decide to do that, then they're going to be easy. I think there's gonna be a lot more people playing Mesa Boogie. So. Ian Nunez says, Sweetwater messed up and sent me some extra stuff I have no knowledge on how to use. Universal Audio UAD2 satellite, USB octa-core, worth $11.99. It was a demo model. Those are actually pretty cool, man. Any of the UA studio stuff, well, anything Universal Audio, period, really, is is top-notch gear, dude. I mean, really, really top-notch. UA stuff is made really, really well. And, the satellites are, real diehard studio rats really like to have the satellite in use, because the satellite basically processes, plugins and stuff for the processor. It does a few other things, but I think that's its main function. But diehard UAD studio people really like the satellite. So. Ronnie Webster says, doing all right, just hanging out, waiting for my Two Notes captor to get here. Just got a 6505 MH a couple weeks ago, and want to be able to make full use of it. Yeah, I think you commented either, it might have been in the group, or I'm not sure where it was, but I saw that comment from you earlier here in the week. So, sounds like a good setup, man. I think you will enjoy it. Two Note stuff is awesome too, by the way. I think you're really going to enjoy that captor quite a bit. So assuming that you bought one new, don't forget to download the Wall of Sound, because if you bought the captor new, I think you also get 16 free virtual cabs from the Two Notes Wall of Sound, and that is really, really handy. So. Especially if you want to be able to get everything that you can get out of that captor. So, just my advice. Fat Philosopher says, I say I'm going to bed, but I'm too tired to go. I've had that problem before. Let's see. Terrence Fleming says, the rule back in the day was you didn't wear the T-shirt of the band you were going to see to their concert. You wore a shirt from another band. Yeah, that's true. That's true. That was the same. The same was true in the audience as well. But I'm actually talking about the band that you were going to see. If you went and saw, if you were going to see Warrant, for example, Janie Lane was probably wearing a Slaughter T-shirt or something like that. So. That was, when you saw him on stage, he was wearing a Slaughter T-shirt, just as an example. But, like, you'd see that all the time. Metallica, wearing Anthrax T-shirts and, stuff like that. So, Scott Brockway says, twisty knobby mode. I didn't know what else to call it, so, that was the goofiest name that I thought told the story. So, and all you guys all reacted to it the first time I used it, so it stuck. Ronnie Webster says I got it used for like $70 less than MSRP. If you bought it used, I don't know that you're gonna get the 2 Notes wall of sound. I don't know if you're gonna get the wall of sound access or not. It's probably worth going to 2 Notes website to see if they'll still do it. But especially if that serial number that you're getting, if it's already been registered, they may not honor it. So I don't know what their policy is. So let me know. I'll tell you what. Let me know what happens. I've got a good friend of mine works for 2 Notes. He might be able to help. Maybe. Ronnie Webster says I have the wall of sound with the stock 2 cab sims. The stock 2 cab sims are cool, but the 16 cabs that they give you with it are you won't even use those 2 stock cab sims anymore. So, and okay, looks like I am caught up in the chat. So, I suppose I will use this chance again as a reminder. If you guys want to support the channel, you can certainly do so. You can click the little dollar icon down there at the bottom of the chat box and do so there. You can hit the PayPal link in the description, the Patreon link in the description, all that stuff. If you guys really want to do so, it is greatly, greatly appreciated. So, let's see. I just got a message from Shay at Transmutation Devices. Cool. I had sent him a message last night. We talked, or we messaged back and forth the other day, and I said, yeah, I'll message you again, here this evening. We could talk a little bit more, and then I got busy trying to edit like 3 or 4 videos or something stupid, way more than I'm usually tied up with, and just decided that, I forgot all about it. So I hit him up last night and told him that, and that's when he got back to me. So. Let's see. Jim says, yeah, they might not, but reach out to customer service. They seem to be good, and they are responsive. I have the cab sims, the cabs and sims they give you. I have all of CIRS IRs as well. Yeah, so it's certainly worth reaching out. So. Ronnie Webster says if you play metal, the Christian Cole IRs are pretty awesome, especially if you're kind of tired of the usual vintage 30 sounds. I have not checked any of those out. I mean, I'm pretty happy with my. I don't obsess over over virtual cabs and stuff like I do like actual gear. So I'm pretty happy with my collection of virtual cabs. And wall sound is mostly what I use most of the time. I've got a few others, but wall sound's pretty much what I use for just about everything, really. So, and really the same cab sim preset that I've custom preset that I've created is what I use for most of them, just to keep things consistent on my channel as I go along. But occasionally I do change it up for something that requires a different cab sound. So, let's see. A couple names I had missed. Love to Rock is here. Says I love my Les Paul Jr. with single P90. That's like the classic P90 sound. Les Paul Special, Les Paul Jr. Or even the original Gold Tops. And Tom Leary is here as well. I think I got everybody now, didn't I? Maybe. Yep, I sure did. Okay, cool. Yeah, so where are we at? Hour and a half. And Lord Winterheart says, I love a good stock 1968 with T75s. I do too, to be honest with you. That's just, that's like, if I were going to pick like a default cab sound, that would be it. I mean, there's just, it's a really, really versatile cab. So many different amps sound good through it. A lot of people hate those speakers for some reason. I've never understood why. I think I like them. I've always liked them. Especially for high gain amps because, hey, pedal guy's here. What's up, dude? Um, but for high gain amps especially, I like the higher the higher wattage. They don't break up quite as early as vintage 30s. Certainly don't break up as early as greenbacks and Marshall cabs. So I'm with you. I just like the good old fashioned 1968 cab. I like the vintage 30 cab too. The AV and the 1960 AV and BV. I like those cabs too. But and I haven't AB'd the two side by side together in a long time, but they do sound different because of the speakers. But especially for my JCM 900, that 1960 is just fine for me. Doesn't need to have vintage 30s in it. So yeah, so Pedal Guy is here. If you guys haven't checked out his channel, you ought to, man. That dude's got a lot of knowledge. He's been in the EMI business a long time as well. So a long time, and he knows how it all works. So I encourage you guys all to go. I think it won't let me click. It won't let me click on the. It used to be that all of your names, screen names, would show up as links, and I could click on them, and then it would take me direct to your channel. But now YouTube took that away from me. I can't do that anymore. So, because otherwise I would just share my screen and take you guys straight there. But like I said, YouTube took that away from me, or us as creators, I should say. So. But yeah, go check him out. He's even got an interview up with me in it. From I don't know, God, what was that? 6-7 months ago now? It's been a while. Did I just get? I think one of you guys just requested $10 from me through PayPal. Interesting. That's the first time that's happened. Let's see. Ian Nunez says, I sent the stuff back to Sweetwater. He received a bunch of stuff that he said earlier in the chat. So I sent the stuff back to Sweetwater, being honest. I also sent back a Yamaha keyboard, sustain pedal, and Dunlop lemon oil. I also didn't order. Somebody made a mistake. Yeah, it sounds like if they sent you all that stuff, yeah, it sounds like your order got mixed up with somebody else's. Who knows where your order is? But good on you for sending the stuff back that didn't belong to you, man. That's, I don't want to go so far as to say most people, but a lot of people definitely would have kept it because it was, because it was worth a lot more than what they paid. Let's see. Pedal guy says, yeah, 6 months or so. Oh, well, that might explain why things got quiet there for a minute, because it looks like something dropped out there, and all of a sudden, here, so you guys can see what I'm looking at. Kind of weird. This is my analytics page of the live stream, and you can see looks like we've topped out at 55 here today, and then all of a sudden it dropped all the way down to 0 there out of nowhere. Okay, now it's back. Weird. That's YouTube. Okay. Scott Brockway says, I relaunched my channel too, if it's okay to mention. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, man. if you guys, I don't even care if you guys want to post links to your channel in the chat. Go ahead. I'm not that big of an asshole. So, do it in the comments section of one of my videos, then and I'm liable to delete that. But yeah, no, feel free to. Like I said, I mean, I don't really consider live streams as videos. I just consider them as, kind of hanging out with you guys, So, let's see. Josiah Utt is here, so just going to strike up a conversation. Ebenezer Jackson. Ooh. My instinct... I mean, instinctively, I almost always gravitate towards Jackson. And not just because that's my last name, but because I've always really, really liked Jackson guitars. Despite the fact I don't own one, I've always really liked Jackson guitars. But that said, and I've picked up I've picked up more than a few, clunker Ibanez guitars that I wouldn't be caught dead playing or I wouldn't be caught dead owning in my day. But I've also played a lot of Ibanez guitars that play really, really well. And I also have the Ibanez Xiphos that I have also is a really, really good guitar. And I really, really like that one. You guys comment on that one every single time I pull it out and use it for a video. So between the two, I don't know, man. God, it's hard to say. I mean, because the thing with Jackson guitars, and to be fair, the Jackson, like the JS series guitars, I don't like at all. Can't stand them. I would consider owning an X series, of the current line anyway. Those are a little bit nicer. So those I would probably own. But the old like 90s, early 2000s made in Japan stuff, is kind of where I live as far as Jackson guitars. Ibanez guitars, most of their made in Japan stuff again is really, really good, but their Indonesian stuff is also, a lot of it is really, really good. But they've also got some cheap stuff that is really, really, really not good, and some not so cheap stuff that is really, really not good. So, Waleed did a video a couple years ago on it was an Ibanez Fanfret guitar, and Ibanez's model numbers are like this long now, so I can't remember exactly what it was called. It was RG something or other. It was a Fanfret. And the color was cerulean blue. And he told me he had to send that guitar back 3 times because they kept showing up with sharp frets and stuff. Just QC stuff is just unacceptable. So, I don't know, man. So I guess between the two, it's hard to choose. I guess I'm pretty 50-50 on both of them. The truth is, I mean, I choose Music Man over either one of them. So, Music Man, probably BC Rich, just my taste. Scott Brockway says old or new Jackson. If you're talking USA stuff, I don't think there's much of a difference. If you're talking, import stuff, like I just said, the Jacksons made, the older made in Japan, NYJ Jackson guitars are pretty kick-ass, and Charvels as well. Tom Leary says, how about the MXR Rotovibe foot pedal? Do you like that pedal? What's Rotovibe? Oh yeah, that's the red. It looks like a wah pedal, but it's a vibrato. Yeah, I do. They're cool. They're hard to find. They're really hard to find. I'm not sure what happened. That made them popular, and now they're discontinued. So I mean, you can't find them at all. I mean, you can find the Stompbox version, but the treadle style version you can't find anywhere, and they're expensive now. So when they do pop up, but yeah, they're pretty cool. It's not the type of effect that I gravitate towards. Not the type of effect that that I would use a whole lot of. But yeah, they're definitely cool pedals. I wouldn't mind having one just for my collection. To be honest, I'd find a use for it. Cool Guitar Gear says just got the Carl Martin DC Factory. Nice power supply, digital and isolated outputs. That's good. Super quiet, great for wah pedals. Also good. The only other new gear is Eventide's Black Hole Reverb. Yeah, if it's got Eventide's name on it, I mean that's kick ass stuff. Eventide make great gear, man. A lot of but it's expensive. But and I don't know. I guess I've never really had enough of a need for it that I've been able to justify the cost. But I've always wanted one of their what do they call the pitch factor? Because they do like harmonizing in an effect box way better. I mean, that's like basically what put Eventide on the map was their harmonizer technology, and their harmonizers sound way better than anybody else's on the market by a lot. So, I guess I've just never really been able to justify it, but I would love to have a pitch factor. Hobo Roadie says, I left the room for a minute. Google noticed. I don't know what that means, but I guess we're all being watched here to some extent nowadays. John Shutt says Schecter in response to the Jackson Ibanez discussion a minute ago. John McDonough is here from London. Welcome, sir. Hope you're having a wonderful weekend over there on your side of the pond. Jim Woodard says, I want an old BC Rich bitch or an Eagle. I do too. I'd love to have a 70s, 70s, early 80s BC Rich. Between, a bitch would be cool too, but, like a bitch or an Eagle or a Mockingbird. I don't want the Seagull. That's as much as I love BC Rich. If you're not familiar with the BC Rich Seagull, that was their first design. It was really, really out there, but to me they're just hideous. That body style is ugly as hell to me. I don't want the Seagull, but those late 70s, early 80s body shapes. The bitch, the Mockingbird, and and the Eagle. I would love to have one of any of those. I love I do have an MIJ, early 80s, late 70s, early 80s MIJ Eagle bass. I've shown you guys here. I've featured it on the channel a few times. I love that. I love that bass. Love that bass. But I don't have a guitar version of it. Alfusini Kamara sent you a friend request on Facebook. Yeah, I get a lot of that. I get a lot of friend requests from people I've never heard of. Let's see. Tom Leary says, today I have pedal chain MXR Metal Zone, VHT Overdrive, Zach Wild Crybaby Wah, MXR Rotovibe, Van Halen Phase 90, Zach Wild Chorus, and DSL 20 in 1936. That's a lot of MXR, Dunlop and MXR in that pedal chain, man. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but FRS Driver says, what is the worst signature model guitar? My vote is the John Connolly Epiphone. It's Guy Fieri in guitar form. Oh, man, I don't know. I can't really think of any signature model guitars that I've just absolutely hated. There's a lot of them out there that I didn't love. A lot of them that I thought were way overhyped. Yeah, you know what? I take that back. There was the Gibson, Billy Joe Armstrong thing. Was not that it was a bad guitar or anything, but it was a ungodly overpriced Les Paul Jr. with his name on it. That's it. There was, it was literally like a Les Paul Jr. with a graphic of some kind on it, and they called it a signature. That was literally the only thing about it. That set it apart from anything else was the stupid graphic. Beyond that, it was a Les Paul Jr. with an insane price tag on it. That's really the only one that I can think of that just, really absolutely made me want to smack somebody over the head with it. Um, mm, yeah, I can't recall. I can't really think of anything else off the top of my head that's, that I've just absolutely hated. hmm Lord Winterheart says, I love both Jackson and Ibanez, but most of them have too slim necks for me. I have owned an Ibanez Destroyer. I think it was a DT520 Korean made. Those are good guitars. And it was killer, and didn't want one of those Wizard necks. Yeah, the Wizard necks aren't for everybody, man. I happen to like them because I like really thin, fast necks, but um, I happen to like them, but though I don't like them as well as I like the thin necks on my BC Rich. Actually, the neck on like my ASM, my white BC Rich ASM Pro, that's that thing might even be thinner than an Ibanez Wizard, and I mean that's my jam right there. So. Scott Brockway says, I played a couple of real Bernie Ricos. The mass produced ones just don't compare at all. Yeah, well, yeah. And, now the real, like the early, the ones that were actually called Bernie Ricos, not BC Rich, um, they were originally, that brand was called BC Rico. And number one, if you can find them, which is even harder. You're gonna pay through the nose for them. But you're right. BC Rich are really they were really the first ones to, that brought us neck through construction. And that design is basically what their entire, legacy is built on. And they, of course, now they do other stuff like, the Gunslinger, of course, is their notorious bolt-on neck version, or bolt-on neck model. They've built some other models with with carved set necks and stuff to save cost and keep the cost down on them, et cetera, et cetera. But I mean, primarily, they're a neck through company. I could never own a BC Rich unless it was a Gunslinger. I could never own a BC Rich that was not a neck through model. Yeah, the ST3s from the 80s, I think, were also bolt on. Even the USA ones, those I could stomach owning one of those too because those are cool. Mm. Hobo Rody says, just saw the dip of the numbers of viewing. We're definitely interested in what we're doing. So, well, I hope so. I certainly hope to generate interest, but YouTube doesn't seem to blast out, alerts for live streams and stuff. You have to be subscribed to the channel, and you have to be logged into YouTube to see who's live over on the sidebar. I think a few of you get alerts, but most of you don't. Timothy Plonk with $5 in the super chat. Thank you, sir. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. Very, very grateful for your support. Scott Brockway says, Robert, have you ever had a late 70s or early 80s Washburn A10 or A20? No, I haven't. God, I don't even remember what model number that is, what model that is. Washburn A10. Is that an acoustic? No. Oh, okay. Yeah, that was like the Explorer version. Yeah, I remember those. I've never owned one, but I've played a couple of them. Which one was the 20? I think that was same thing. Okay, just more bling. Dude, wow, this thing could bring $800 now. Wow. Yeah, I've played a couple of them, but I've never owned them. So Washburn's kind of been laying real low on the guitar market, both new and used here lately. They're not producing a whole lot in the way of, they seem to have backed off anyway on their Parallax line that I think was doing pretty well up until Ola England jumped ship, and I don't know. They've been pretty quiet lately, unfortunately, which is too bad because I like Washburn. Tom Larry says, "If you try the ESP LTD, why are we yelling? By the way, Jeff Hanneman guitar, awesome EMG 8185, ebony neck, eagle inlays, collar hybrid, or Kaler, yeah. I've not that particular model. I played a lot of the ESPs and LTDs. I've actually played one of Jeff's actual, matter of fact, two of Jeff's actual ESP guitars. As a matter of fact, a buddy of mine owned them. A buddy, Jeff's old guitar tech was a guy named Armand, who's also since passed away. And Armand and this particular friend of mine were pretty tight. And, so the friend of mine got it from Armand years ago before Armand passed. And when I was at the store, still at the store, he'd brought him into us to sell them. And, we weren't able to buy them because, we were pretty far apart. Pretty far apart in price, I mean, it was, and I was trying, I couldn't figure out exactly what in the hell they were worth either, or what I would be able to sell them for. So I even got to the point that I called ESP, and, I took pictures of and emailed them over, and I said, like, this is what I got, these apparently once belonged to Jeff, here's the serial numbers if you can, if you want to verify them. He's trying to sell these things, I'm trying to figure out, what they're worth, what I got, and what I should offer them. Are you guys able to offer any kind of help? Verify that this is what it is. This is what he's claiming, and a rough retail ballpark what they may have cost when when you sent them out when they were new. So they were like, you can send them over. Let me take a look at them, and that was the last conversation I had with ESP about that. Meanwhile, the next day, this was after Jeff Hanneman had passed away, by the way. The next day, probably 6 months or probably a year or so, 6 months or a year after Jeff Hanneman had died. So the next day, I get a call from Jeff Hanneman's wife, and she was claiming that the particular friend of mine had not received these guitars legitimately, and that Jeff never would have given away sold or given away any of his instruments from ESP. He never would have done that, et cetera, et cetera. And I couldn't account for any of that, and and I told her, I said, hey, I believe you, I absolutely believe you. But, and I don't know all of the details about how these things were acquired, but I do know the individual that brought him in. I know him very, very well. He's a man of integrity. He would not, he does not own anything that he doesn't, did not come by legitimately. So, there's a few steps here in between, what you're telling me and what he's telling me that neither of us seem to be clear on. But, yeah, it was that was one of the more interesting phone calls I ever had at Guitar Center. Long story short, though, I couldn't get close enough on him to make him. I couldn't get close enough to make him an offer, or the offer that I made him wasn't close enough to what he was wanting for him, because he got that. I've still got pictures of him on my phone. Maybe I'll share them sometime. I've got he brought in two of his ESPs and one of his custom made Marshall heads. He had a couple of Marshall heads that they were Heineken logos, but they said Hanneman on them, so they were obviously custom made for him by Marshall. Hey, Pedalboard to Doom is here. What's up, Lee? What's up, dude? Hope you're doing well. I still need you to teach me, learn me a thing or two about how to stream my audio. I can't do that because I can't plug in and play guitar on my live streams. So I need you to learn me a thing or two. Let's see. What are we talking about? Well, we've talked about YouTube creators not being paid shills. We've talked about, oh boy, we talked about a lot of things. And now I'm drawing a blank on just about everything except for Jeff Hanneman. We talked about Jackson. We talked about Ibanez. We talked about Gibson. We've talked about a few different amp companies here and there. Talked about Wampler briefly. Let's see. Tom Larry said, "Did you see all of the Dweezil Zappa guitar auction?" I did not. You know, I'm not really too into that kind of stuff at all. So, uh, you know, rock stars, you know, famous musicians auctioning off all of their shit is, you know, number one, it's way overpriced, and you know, nostalgia is cool, but you know, especially when they're doing it on Reverb. I mean, there's never really any guarantee that you know. I mean, they're not going to come with any kind of, you know, certificate of authenticity in most cases that proves that this is, you know, this is the actual Big Muff that Billy Gibbons used to record Siamese Dream, or Billy Corgan rather. So, you know, half the time it's just, here's the pedal. This is, you know, this is, you just have to take my word for it. This is what I said it is, and go nuts. So. Tom Leary says there's a guy now who takes care of Jeff's collection. That I don't know. I do not know. I mean, I'm sure legally it was all left to his wife. You know, I'm sure, you know, legally she's got legal ownership of anything that he may have had left, which I have to assume is quite a bit. But yeah, I don't, you know, as far as who manages, you know, who takes care of all of his old gear, what happened to any of it, I don't know. So I would assume that a lot, the Slayer camp, what's left of that would probably have some say in it as well, since, you know, a lot of that was used to write and record their music. So. Pardon me. Yeah. Pedalboard of Doom says, regarding streaming audio, we're doing some testing with some new tech at the moment. I'll keep you updated. Please do. Please do. I would love to be able to do that, because I know there's, I mean, I could buy, I think there's a software or something or other that I could buy that'll do it, but I mean, it's like $300. You know, I'm not paying $300 to stream audio, you know, to stream guitar live. That's stupid. There's got to be another way to do it. And honestly, I just haven't dug into it too much, but. Charles75 then says, Fluff just did a video about his live stream rig that might help you use a program called Looper to combine his mic and guitar. Yeah, I saw he posted that video. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. You know, the last time I did see him talk about anything about his live stream rig, it was pretty complex. It was a lot more than what I'm using. I'm just using my regular Panasonic camera and my Cloner Alliance capture card. With my mic plugged into, my interface like it always is, and going through OBS. That's pretty much the extent of my live rig. So, let's see. Rhonda Bondo says, "Hey Robert, what do you think about Fender Stratocaster and Telecaster? Strats I really like. Might be a stretch, to say that I love them, but I do like Strats. I like Strats. Tellies, not for me. I love the history behind the Telly. I really do. Love the history behind just about all Fender products. I really do. But Tellies are too twangy and quacky for me. I'm not a Telly guy." Lee says, "I really want to hear a ZZ Top version of Siamese Dream now." Yeah, they probably would have fixed it. Siamese Dream only had a couple, for the longest time, there was only one song on that album that I would like, and it wasn't even one of the hits. And some of the more popular songs have kind of since grown on me a little bit. But I've never been much of a Smashing Pumpkins fan. I just remember Billy Corgan auctioned off a bunch of his shit on Reverb here in the last year or two. So, all right, guys. Well, we're coming up on 2 hours here anyway. So those of you that support the chat, or those of you that support the channel rather, thank you very much. I've got I don't know. You know, I've kind of cooled off a little bit since I first turned on the camera here today. So I'm gonna collect my thoughts and see if this video that I recorded is going to be is something that I should pursue posting. And I don't know. I may change my mind. So I don't know. We'll see. But I'm gonna go enjoy the rest of my afternoon, and you guys should go enjoy the rest of your afternoon and your weekend as well. So don't forget to check out the video tomorrow morning, whatever in the hell it ends up being, and adios.